Deep in a remote rainforest, untouched by machines and uncharted by maps, lived a group of villagers whose lives flowed with nature's rhythm. Their days were filled with the laughter of children playing in the dappled sunlight, the murmur of daily chores, and the hushed reverence of elders sharing tales beneath the star-dusted sky. For them, the whispering wind was a lullaby, the babbling brook a comforting friend, and the rustling leaves an old, familiar tale. But their world, much like the earth itself, was about to rumble with an unexpected surprise. This is the terrifying moment when the jungle floor opened up and swallowed a cow whole. Welcome to our channel, and today, let's find out what really happened. It all began with subtle hints that something was amiss. The villagers noticed cracks near the edge of the grazing field, hairline fractures that snaked across the ground. Birds, normally unafraid and carefree, refused to land or even pass overhead, their frightened chirps echoing the unease stirring within the villagers. Even stranger, they heard strange vibrations during the night, low rumblings that seemed to emanate from the very core of the earth, shaking the houses and waking the villagers from their sleep, leaving them unsettled and confused. But it wasn't until one morning that the earth decided to reveal its secrets. It was a morning much like any other. The mist rolled low over the forest floor, weaving between the trees in ethereal dance. The air was sweet with the scent of pine and damp earth. But over at the grazing field, something was different. The cattle stood huddled together, their usual placid eyes wide with fear, staring at a spot near the tree. Then, it happened. As the mist swirled, the ground beneath a cow's feet groaned. It was a low, guttural sound, like the sigh of something immensely old and very much alive. Before anyone could react, the earth split open with a violent crack. In a matter of seconds, the cow was gone, swallowed whole by the gaping hole. There was no scream, no desperate bellow, just a sudden vacuum where moments before there was a living, breathing animal. In the stunned silence that followed, the earth continued to tremble. The hole grew wider and deeper, steaming and oozing like a wound on the face of the earth. The villagers, their faces pale with terror, exchanged uneasy glances. Whispers rippled through the crowd, their voices hushed and afraid. Was it an earthquake? Maybe even a curse? As days turned into a week, confusion turned to mounting dread. The hole remained, a gaping maw in the earth that seemed to mock their helplessness. No one dared approach it, not even the bravest of the young men. The elders, their faces etched with worry, gathered at the edge of the woods. They knew they had to do something, anything to appease whatever force had opened up the earth and taken one of their own. When they finally approached the edge, they found something that sent chills down their spines. The edges of the opening weren't lined with broken soil or jagged rocks, but with smooth, flat stones, too perfectly circular to be natural. They were arranged in such a way that it looked like someone had chiseled them with an impossibly sharp tool. A knot of fear tightened in their stomachs. This was no accident, no quirk of nature. Someone or something had made this hole, and the thought of what might lie beneath sent shivers down their spines. The news of the mysterious hole spread like wildfire, carrying with it fear and speculation. Soon, experts were on their way. Geologists descended upon the scene, their faces a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. Armed with instruments of science, they descended into the gaping hole. But what they found defied explanation, only deepening the mystery. At first glance, the opening looked like a sinkhole, a common geological phenomenon. But as the geologists descended, they realized this was no ordinary The opening wasn't just deep, it was a vertical shaft, almost perfectly round and descending beyond visible depth. Instruments dropped in return garbled data. One camera stopped transmitting at 112 feet, another melted its cables due to rising heat below. Yet there was no sign of volcanic activity in the region, nor any indication of a tectonic fault line that could explain the hole. It was then that old maps were dusted off, ancient texts were reread, and forgotten lore was recalled. And in a faded manuscript, they found a match. An X drawn centuries ago, a marker indicating a place of significance, a place of legend. The villagers spoke of an ancient story, a folktale passed down through generations. The story of Nar-Kadar, meaning the belly of the earth. According to the tale, once in a generation, the earth would open up, reclaiming life from those who had become too comfortable on sacred land. It was a warning, a reminder that they were merely guests on the earth, not its owners. But what made the story more chilling was what the camera had captured before it failed. Smooth carvings on the tunnel walls, symbols that seemed alien, like a language from a time long before humans. It was as if the earth itself was communicating, sending a message from a time before recorded history. Some whispered that the place was not natural at all, but part of a vast network created by a forgotten civilization. Others spoke of a slumbering giant beneath the earth, something that still breathed, fed, and remembered. Fear gave way to fascination, and the site became a pilgrimage for many, eager to catch a glimpse of the earth's open wound. But the earth seemed to have a mind of its own. Soon after, the ground around the hole began to tremble. Then, As if stirred from a long slumber, the earth rumbled again. But this time, it was different. The vibrations were stronger, more insistent, like a heartbeat growing stronger. Panic surged through the crowds. Had whatever was below awakened? Were they being watched? As the tremors intensified, so did the mystery. Was this a natural phenomenon, a supernatural occurrence, or something else entirely? Experts grappled with the enigma, poring over data, running tests, and formulating theories. But the deeper they delved, the more the mystery seemed to grow. In the end, there were more questions than answers. What was the purpose of the perfectly smooth walls of the shaft? Who or what had carved them, and why? And what lay at the bottom of the hole? Was there a vast cavern or a bottomless abyss? The truth was, no one really knew. Today, the area around the hole remains abandoned. No one goes near it, not even to lay flowers or pay respects. Animals avoid it, never passing too close. Birds fly around it in wide arcs, never flying directly over it. And at night, some villagers still hear the groans, sometimes soft, mournful cries echoing from deep within the forest, a haunting reminder of the day the earth decided to speak. Many believe the hole is a warning from nature itself, a message that we should respect the delicate balance of the ecosystem. Others see it as a sign of something more sinister, a dormant evil stirring beneath the surface. The truth, however, remains elusive, lost in the depths of the earth, or perhaps buried in the sands of time. One thing is certain, though. The story of the hole serves as a stark reminder that there are some things we may never truly understand, some mysteries that are best left unsolved. So the next time you feel the earth beneath your feet, remember, it has a history, a story that goes back millennia, and sometimes it likes to remind us that we are merely guests in a world that is far older and much wiser than we are. If this mystery made your heart race or left you questioning what lies beneath us, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and leave a comment on our channel, Jungle Echoes Rescue and Maestry, where untold stories of the wild come to life.